In this video, I'm going to be going through my top 10 favourite TV shows of all time. This was so hard for me to do because I am such a TV fanatic as well as a film fanatic, but I also love and really value TV as well. So because this was so hard to do, this is purely going to be my favourite American TV shows, because don't even get me started on all the British, UK TV shows from around the world, like Spanish things that I watch or Norwegian things that I watch. Let's not get started on that because that would just be impossible. So this is purely American TV shows, and I might do another one for everywhere else in the world. So let's just get into my top 10 favourite American TV shows. And before I get into the top 10 list, I just wanted to have some honourable mentions, just because there were so many that could have made it into this list, and I did have to whittle it down and be quite strict with it. So I just wanted to mention some of my honourable mentions, so they get a little mention. First honourable mention is The Carrie Diaries, then Girls, and with an E, and Awkward. So now that's done, let's get into my top 10. So at number 10 we have the show Freaks and Geeks.
Coming!
Oh my god.
What?
We just egged my little brother.
So Freaks and Geeks is a show set in the 80s, and it follows a girl, Lindsay, who in her school is known as a geek, and essentially it follows her trying to have a transformation and become a freak. And the freaks at their school are basically like the naughty stoner kids, and she really wants to be like them because I guess she wants more friends and a possible boyfriend. So it follows that, and then you also follow her little brother, who has two friends, and him and his two friends are all geeks, and they're just honestly, I think, the best part of the show. But yes, I love this show so much. I think it launched the careers of Seth Rogen and James Franco, and then you also have, I've forgotten that guy's name, but the guy from How I Met Your Mother and the Muppet movie, you have him in it. And then Lindsay played Velma in Scooby-Doo, so that's just iconic. And yeah, this show, it only has one season. I think it got cancelled after one season because it wasn't that popular. But then it kind of got a resurgence on Tumblr. At least Tumblr is where I heard about it, and started watching it in probably like 2016. And yeah, I just love it. Only one season, but so good. It's very funny, and just, I don't know, it just has this vibe, and it's really, really good. And I really, really love it. So Freaks and Geeks is at number 10. Then number 9, we have an absolute classic for me, and this is Teen Wolf. So Teen Wolf is a show that chronicles a boy getting bit by a werewolf, and then him becoming a werewolf, and then what happens because of all that. And it's actually based off the movie with Michael J. Fox, and it's a TV show based on that. And I love Teen Wolf so much. When I watched it, I just loved it. I loved it so much. So I watched it when it came out, loved it. I remember I did find it a bit scary at first because I don't really like scary things, but it's not that scary. Yeah, I love Teen Wolf. I love all the characters, Scott and Styles and Lydia and Isaac, and yeah, I love it. I love Teen Wolf so much. A little bit of supernatural vibe. You have all the teens at school navigating their relationships, just so good. I have seen the Teen Wolf movie and I wouldn't recommend, but the show, yes, I would recommend. Although the finale of the show really upset me because you have a lot of characters come back, a lot of beloved characters I was really happy to see, like for example like Allison's dad and stuff. But tell me why there was no Isaac. Like, they did not bring Isaac back, and I don't understand, because Isaac was one of my favourite characters, and he just moves to France and you never see him again. So that part I do have a bit of a problem with. But yeah, Teen Wolf is my number 9. I loved it so much as a teen. It was just iconic, to be honest. And in place number 8, and no, this is not ironic, place 8 we have Glee.
Kids have their club, but don't pretend any of them are something they're not.
Now, I know Glee is a bit controversial. It's honestly such a crazy show, just in general. But I watched this for the first time I started watching it in 2011 with my sister, and we both quite liked music, quite liked musicals. So we were like, yeah, let's give this a go. And because of that, because I watched it with her, it was such like a bonding experience of like every week we'd stream it because we're from the UK, so we'd stream it online, and every week we'd stream it after the new episode came out. We'd have to do it the day after or like the morning after, because that's how it worked for streaming. You obviously couldn't watch it live because we didn't have the channels that it was on because we were in England. Yeah, it's just got so many memories for me of watching it with her, watching it as a kid, absolutely loving it. As a kid, I don't know, I don't think I saw how crazy it was because I was like 11, but yeah, it's definitely controversial, it's definitely very interesting, but I still love it. And I think even I do really want to rewatch it as well because it has been years since I saw it. But even watching some clips, like the comedy and stuff, it does hold up. Like, it is so funny. It's absolutely crazy show, but it is so funny, and I think just always will just have such a special place for me. And just that first episode where they sing Don't Stop Believing, every time I listen to that cover I just cry. Like, I just can't with that cover. Yeah, I just love Glee so much, so Glee is in my number 8 spot. Then number 7, I'm kind of cheating here because I'm doing 2 shows, but they're like in the same universe, so I'm allowing it. Number 7, we have The Boys / Gen V.
Wait, what's Sporty Spice up to? Who? Sporty fucking Spice, what's she up to? I don't know. And baby, not even page 6 of the Daily Mail. You see, when they're apart, they're absolute fucking rubbish. But you put them together, they're the goddamn fucking Spice Girls. The point is, we need each other. We're fucking dead in the water.
Jesus, he gives the worst pep talks.
He really, really does.
Is that we are all fucked up.
It's lights.
Yeah, I've watched The Boys for years, have loved it for years. Just a really good show, really funny, crazy, just a really good show. Love the characters, love everything. Gen V, I feel the exact same. I love that spin-off. I actually think I love it more than The Boys, but I'm putting them together because this was a really hard list to make, and I didn't want Gen V and The Boys taking up 2 spaces. Yeah, I think I prefer Gen V just because I found the stories a bit more interesting and compelling, because I think The Boys is definitely interesting and compelling, but for me, we get to a certain point, because like every season it's kind of like, and now I'm assuming that you know what The Boys is about, but anyway, every season is like, oh, we need to kill Homelander. And after like 4 seasons of that, you're like, okay, we get it. Like, we know what you want to do. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's less avenues to explore with The Boys. Whereas with Gen V, I feel like there's so much scope for exploration, because essentially Gen V is like teens and young adults with superpowers. And because of that, you can therefore explore everything to do with teens and young adults, but then add superpowers into the mix. So I just found Gen V asking really interesting questions of like a superhero that is non-binary, like what happens when you have a superhero who's really, really powerful, but he has mental health issues. Like, it's so interesting. Yeah, I just love all the exploration of that, and I think I just find it more interesting and probably relate to it a bit more because I am a young adult. I don't know if I'm allowed to still say young adult. I'm 24. I am a young adult. I'm a young adult, so you know, yeah, I really love Gen V, and I love the characters as well. I think the characters in Gen V are very, very good. So yeah, that is The Boys and Gen V. And yeah, I assumed you knew what The Boys / Gen V was about, but it's essentially about superheroes. It's superheroes, but it's about kind of the corruption and kind of superheroes when they're not good people, and what that means, like when you have these powerful beings that are not nice, that are not good people. So yeah, that's The Boys. And in number 6, we have The Summer I Turned Pretty. I just love this show so much. I love this show. I remember when I watched it for the first time, I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. Like, I saw it being advertised, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I just loved it so much more than I thought I would. I don't know, I just loved it so much. I found it so compelling. I was kicking my feet and giggling. I was loving it all. I love Conrad so much, so I was just loving it. I love Belly as well. Yeah, I love that show so much. I think I've seen the first season, I don't even know how many times now. I love the first season so much. In season 2, while I have my issues with that, and I do have a video on my page detailing the exact issues that I have with that, is also good, and I'm so excited for the next season. But yeah, Summer Temporary, if you don't know, is about a girl, Belly, who her mum has a best friend, and her best friend has 2 sons, and her and the 2 families, her and her brother, and then these 2 boys, and the parents, the mums, spend every summer together in cousins. They spend every summer together, and it's essentially about how this certain summer Belly looks a bit different, so now everyone fancies her. that's kind of the plot, and like she has a love triangle between the 2 brothers, and it's just so good. It's just like easy watch, good time, like absolutely love it. Although I do think season 2 is definitely heavier because there's a lot more exploration of like grief and stuff. But yeah, just love the Samurai Temporary so much. Yeah, just girlhood. So that's why the Samurai Temporary is at number 6. And then at number 5 we have Stranger Things.
You know Will? Do you know where he is? Hiding. From who?
Now I'm not gonna explain the plot of Stranger Things because I assume everyone knows. Yeah, I've loved Stranger Things since I watched it. I think I started watching it when season 2 came out, because I didn't watch season 1 when it came out because I was scared, because I thought it was a horror, which it kind of is a bit scary, but yeah, I thought it was like really scary, so I was like, I'm not watching that. Then I gave in and was like, oh okay, that was okay. That wasn't, I'm okay watching that. Yeah, I love Stranger Things so much. I just think it's a really, really good show, as I'm sure most people would agree. Love the characters. Yeah, what can I say? So excited for the final season to see what happens. And my favourite characters are Max, Lucas and Steve. So as long as none of those are killed or touched, I'll be happy. I also really like Nancy, and I really want Steve and Nancy to get together. Like, yeah, I don't care about Jonathan at all. I want Steve and Nancy. So yeah, that is Stranger Things at my number 5. At number 4 we have The Umbrella Academy.
We're gonna do this thing. I wouldn't miss what's coming for the world.
Me really sad, and I wrote this list before I watched the final season of Umbrella Academy, but I have a video on my channel again talking about this. I hated the final season, so let's just forget about that, because the final season just ruins everything for me. Forgetting about the final season, Umbrella Academy, ever since it came out, has always been one of my favourite shows ever. I love it so much. I think it is beautifully shot. I think the characters are amazing. I think the plot is so interesting and cool, and I think it's so weird and quirky in a way that I love so much, because it's a way that reminds me of Jared Way and My Chemical Romance, especially Danger Days in My Chemical Romance. And I love My Chemical Romance, and I have since I was like 14. So yeah, it just reminds me of all of that, and I love Jared Way, so I just love Umbrella Academy so much. Forgetting about the 4th season because I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, it's just always been just such a good show for me, and I'll probably rewatch season 1 and 2 forever because I love them so much. So yeah, that's Umbrella Academy. At number 3 we have Shameless.
Absolutely, wildly, unapologetically shameless.
Now this is the American version. I have not seen the English version. I'm sure it's good, I just have not seen it, but also it would not be on this list because this is the American list. But yeah, Shameless. Started watching Shameless again when I was like 14 or something, because it was on Netflix, and I was like, let's give this a go. And I love Shameless so much. Shameless is such a good show. If you don't know the plot, it's essentially about this family where the dad is an alcoholic, the mum is kind of like this mentally ill mess, and she has left the dad and the family, and because the dad is an alcoholic and so unable to care for any of them, the elder sister Fiona then has to step up, and she's basically caring for all the family, even though she's like, well, at the beginning she was like a kid herself. And it's just following the lives of these kids who live in they have a really shit upbringing and just a really shit situation, and about all the shameless things they get up to essentially. And let me tell you, they do a lot of shameless things, like they really do. But yes, I love this show so much. I think the characters are so good, the storyline is so good. You really feel for all the characters, for Fiona, for all the siblings, and all the things that the different siblings go through. And because there's like, I don't know if it's finished because I'm not up to date with it. The last thing that I watched was a little bit of a spoiler. Fiona leaving was the last season that I watched, so I don't know how many were after. I know there's definitely one that I haven't seen, which I need to watch. I just haven't seen it. Yeah, because there's so many seasons, you really do see these actors grow up, which is really, really nice, especially the younger ones. And it's got Jeremy Allen White is in this show. I think it's his starting role, like his breakout role, because he's quite young when it started. He plays Lip. Love Lip so much. Yeah, the characters are just amazing. Love the plot, and I think for me, I found it quite intriguing and relatable. And this is another thing similar to Umbrella Academy, actually, because I have a lot of siblings. While my upbringing is completely different to theirs, like completely different, like I'm not saying my upbringing was anything like theirs, because it was not at all, like at all. But the thing I can relate to is all the siblings and the feeling of family and solidarity, because I am one of 8, so I have a lot of siblings. You can imagine growing up with 7 siblings in the same house as you. That's very much, I think, for me, Shameless vibes, and then also Umbrella Academy, because Umbrella Academy there's also a few siblings. Yeah, so that, I just find it really relatable for me. And yeah, I just love family, and I love like shows that revolve around it, which Shameless definitely does. So yeah, that is Shameless at my number 3. Now we are getting to the end, to the final 2, which this list was so hard to do. But number 2, we have Succession.
Everything I've done in my life, I've done for my children. I know I've made mistakes, but I've always tried to do the best by them because I love them.
Have you thought about the possibility that your children are actually scared of you?
Oh, fuck off!
Now, Succession was a show that I actually watched recently, so I finished it this year, actually, I think. Was it this year? Yeah. I finished watching it this year, and I just loved it. It's such a good show. Like, if you don't know Succession is essentially about this really wealthy man in America who has, like, a massive company, a massive corporation, and has all these different branches. Really wealthy man, and he's getting old. So I think the first episode is his 80th birthday, so he's, like, getting on. And essentially the whole show is about who is going to succeed him when he retires. Yeah, and he has a few children who could succeed him, or he could obviously choose someone who's not related or whatever. And yeah, it's such a good show, really good plot, such good acting. The characters are so horrible and great that you just love them. It's also a comedy, and it is really, really funny. Yeah, such a good show. Love Succession so much. I'm sad that I've finished it now, and yeah, things happen. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's something that happens in the last season which actually made me so sad, and I didn't think it would, because of like how this character had acted the whole show. But I was devastated. Like, it was like I was experiencing what was happening in the show, and it was so weird. It was like, why am I so sad that this has happened to this character who's like not very nice? But I was really sad. Yeah, such a good show. Yeah, I just recommend anyone to watch it. It's just so good. It's so stylized. It's got such a good style. And yeah, just the characters. The characters are just these complex messes that it's so interesting to just watch them just like ruin everything around them. It's really interesting. So yeah, number 2 is Succession. Now, number 1. Now, this number 1 is definitely a very personal thing for me. Like, my number 1 is not me saying like, oh, this is the best show ever made, because I don't think it is. But for me, it's my favorite show, just because when I was younger, I watched a lot of shows with like my siblings and my family, and we like would watch it together. So we'd never like watch episodes alone. We'd always watch it together, like religiously. And this was the first show I remember watching just me, and it being like my show and my thing. And I remember, yeah, just watching it just me and just loving it and just thinking it was great. Like, I was just a teen girl watching this show, absolutely loving it. And I also do think it's a good show, but I just know that I have a lot of nostalgia attached and that it's not the best show ever, but it's still at my number one. And so my number one is Gossip Girl.
Good morning, Upper East Siders. Gossip Girl here, your one and only source into the scandalous lives of Manhattan's elite.
So if you don't know what Gossip Girl's about, it's about these rich people in Manhattan, New York, and it just follows their life as rich people. And then there's this like gossip forum that is written about all these rich people, and there's the author of it, Gossip Girl. They don't know who that is, and like that's a bit of a plot point, but really it's not that big of a deal. Like it's not like as big as like A from PLL. It's still like, oh, I don't know who Gossip Girl is, but it's also like, I feel like with Gossip Girl it's like who Gossip Girl is, it's not that deep. Like it's just not that deep. Yeah, just I love this show so much. I do. I love it. I love the characters, the costume, the fashion, all the drama that they go through, like everything. Love it so much. Love it so much. Blair is my favorite character. Absolutely love Blair. Yeah, absolutely love her. I aspire to Blair. But yeah, this was just a fun show that I watched as a teen, and like whenever I watch it, I'll just forever like be transported back to the time that I watched it, and it's so dear to me. So I just had to put it at number one, even though I do think shows on this list are better than it, better made, better plots, better acting. I just have to put Gossip Girl at number one because, you know, this is my video and that's how I feel. That Gossip Girl is number one for me. Yeah, but that is my list of my top 10 favourite American TV shows, because as I said, if I did all the ones around the world, there would be many. And also I watch anime, so don't even get me started on like anime and like also like cartoon shows. I purposefully didn't include cartoons because then I'd have to like include like Invincible and stuff, and I do love Invincible, so it's just, it gets a bit messy. It's just too many shows, to be honest, that I have seen. But yeah, that was my top 10 favourite. I hope you enjoyed watching. I will hopefully do one for different countries because I love TV shows and I love talking about them. And yeah, I seriously love all the TV shows on this list, and they're TV shows that I would watch over and over and over and over again, and I do watch them over and over and over again because I love them so much. But yeah, that's all from me. Bye.